I mentioned I'll be heading to New Hampshire to cover the GOP and, I guess, unofficial scrimmage Democratic primaries as well. But the Republicans have Iowa first. So there's going to be Iowa on the 16th and then New Hampshire. Iowa looks like a rout for Trump, but we had a poll come out today that showed Nikki Haley trimming Trump's lead to single digits in New Hampshire. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has trimmed former President Donald Trump's lead in the Republican primary race in New Hampshire to single digits, according to a new CNN poll conducted by the University of New Hampshire. Trump still holds a meaningful lead in the poll with the backing of 39% of likely Republican primary voters in New Hampshire compared to Haley's 32%. So it's a 7-point race, according to this poll. The rest of the field lags far behind in the poll, with former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie at 12%, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy at 8%, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis at 5%.
Coming up from behind.
Ouch.
DeSantis coming up from behind. Coming around the turn.
Former Governor Asa Hutchinson from Arkansas at less than 1%. Support for Haley's risen 12 points since the last CNN UNH poll in November, continuing an upward trajectory that began last summer, while her opponents, including Trump, have seen their numbers remain stable or tick slightly downward since autumn. One more slide. Haley's support has grown dramatically among those voters registered as undeclared, New Hampshire's term for independent registrants. She's up 18 points with this group since November. It has also grown 20 points among those who are ideologically moderate. Those gains come amid a push from her campaign in the state, including an endorsement last month from New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu. The Granite State's GOP primary is January 23rd. So if you look at the numbers once more, 39 Trump, 32 Haley, Christie at 12. Now, Christie is obviously running as the never Trump darling in the race. Yeah. He is basically auditioning for a contributor spot on MSNBC to join their, ranks of Lincoln Project, never Trump, conservative converts, the noble conservative who thinks we really have to stop Trump. If he feels any responsibility to actually play that role, he would, if these numbers are accurate, drop out and make sure that those votes go to Nikki Haley, which would make her potentially a contender according to these numbers. Ramaswamy could do the same after Iowa, drop out and endorse Trump. The real standout there, though, is Ron DeSantis at a pathetic 5%. I mean, that is just, there's a reason he was runner-up for loser of the year. DeSantis started out this year with as high a stock price as he could have asked for. He came out the clear winner of the midterms. Trump came out a clear loser in the midterms. DeSantis had every opportunity to make this a race. And his problem was he just never bothered broadening his message. Trolling Disney is popular polling-wise, but you can't run a national campaign on trolling Disney. Right. And he never came up with a credible platform beyond the very sort of online culture war stuff. And the fact that he is down there at 5 is just remarkable. He's not going to drop out. He's a Machiavellian. He's probably the most cutthroat Machiavellian in the race. He's hanging out until Donald Trump is thrown off the ballot or arrested or jailed or something like that. Yep. He figures that's when he'll make his move. So that guy's in it for the long haul. I don't think he'll drop out. Whether Chris Christie drops out and endorses Haley after Iowa, where Christie's going to come away with nothing, that could be a factor in the race if those numbers hold. Now, Trump is obviously up in the average quite a bit. Haley is making a move at just the right time. If she has an impressive showing in New Hampshire, that then makes South Carolina a little interesting since that's her home state. It would take a lot to shift momentum in this race. But for some reason, she has captured the heart of the not Trump vote. I won't even say the never Trump vote because that's kind of the Christie thing, but she has emerged as the most viable alternative. And I think it's because her general election polling against Biden is very strong and Ron DeSantis is very weak. Ron DeSantis can't even really make the electability argument anymore.
It's a combination of factors. Like you say, with DeSantis, I've paid pretty close attention to Ron DeSantis. I could not even begin to tell you what his economic policies are. I've never heard him articulate one.
No.
On the military, war, he only offers an opinion if you press him, and it's very vague and, very let me not get in trouble with this answer. So the only thing he stands for is fuck Mickey Mouse. And as you say, you can't. I mean, a lot of people feel that way, but the nerdrotic audience is not enough to win a national campaign. He's got the nerdrotic vote, but that's just not enough. So with Haley, I've said this many times. People who believe that the Republican Party is a racist party in the way that they are conceiving it or thinking of it, they're barking up the wrong tree. I have always said those people like nothing better than a non-white male to represent them, to deflect the identity politics attacks away. It's about policy. It's about what you represent. Even if you represent policies that are tacitly racist, they will still they like to have somebody, a beard. They like to have somebody like that.
That makes you more of a
just
beard,
like the Democrats do, for that matter.
Right.
So the idea, Republicans, they won't vote for that person. No, I think it's actually an advantage with that party because they know the image that they have. They love having a candidate that can deflect that image. So you have an Indian woman. I think that's actually to her advantage in the Republican primaries, and counterintuitively for a lot of people. And hey, this is the last stand of the Bushies. It's the last stand of those kinds of Republicans. And who else would they coalesce around? Christie? I mean, that's just Trump light. So if you look
maybe
at
not Trump light, but Trump
Trump light on policy and demeanor.
Yeah,
Trump heavy
in other ways
in his birth. I mean Christie's. They're not gonna gravitate around Christie. So who do they have? And also remember, you got all those Republicans in the suburbs who crossed over and voted for Biden. They don't want to keep voting for Democrats. They don't like Democrats. So Haley is offering them that. MSNBC is signaling, no, don't worry. We'll be okay with Nikki Haley. We'll let you. Everyone will go back to brunch if we elect Nikki Haley.
And Haley just kind of oozes like low information, blue-pilled soccer mom affability and competence. Like, she's the kind of person these people would run into at a PTA meeting, like the average upper middle class suburbanite who, maybe reads 5 minutes of news a day on their phone when they wake up in the morning. Haley is perfect for them. She's right in their wheelhouse, and they pull a lot of weight on election day. Those are the moderate swing voters. That's what makes her very viable generally as well in November. Still, I don't think she's going to get there, but the fact that she made it close in New Hampshire, according to some surveys, means that you could extend the primary calendar a little past where you thought you would.
That's why I say it's the last stand. It's the last stand. I mean, what do you think? All of the Steve Schmidt Republicans went away and died? They're looking for a candidate to have a last stand around, and Nikki Haley is the most credible person to play that role.
Please clap.